The ship's thrusters hissed softly as it came to a gentle landing on the crystalline surface of Zarvian. Lieutenant Jake Hodges stepped out, adjusting his gear and taking a deep breath of alien air. It was unlike anything he had ever experienced, sweet, almost floral, with an underlying metallic scent. His mission was clear: build relations between Earth and this newly discovered civilization. "Welcome to Zarvian," said a voice, breaking Jake's thoughts. He turned to see a group of Zarvian diplomats, their skin glimmering with vibrant colors that reflected the sunlight. One stepped forward, a tall figure with azure skin and luminescent highlights. "I am Oren, Chief Diplomat of Zarvian. We're honored to receive you." "Thanks, Oren. I'm excited to be here," Jake replied, scanning the scene around him. Towering structures of crystal refracted light into a kaleidoscope, while strange yet beautiful flora swayed in a breeze that felt soothing against his skin. Oren gestured toward the bustling city. "Let us begin our tour. We value knowledge and exchange. Perhaps you can tell us about your, what do you call it, sports?" "Games," Jake corrected, smiling. "We play many kinds, from football to basketball. Each has its own appeal." As the group ambled through the city, Jake's eyes caught a glimpse of a smaller figure at the edge of the square. She stood out amid the crowd, a girl with shimmering emerald skin and bright violet eyes. Lyra was her name, as he would learn in a shy introduction. "She's curious about you," Lieutenant Oren remarked, sensing Jake's intrigue. He waved Lyra over. "Hey there," Jake said, crouching slightly to meet her gaze. "I'm Jake." "Hi," Lyra replied, her voice melodic and soft. "You're human?" "That's right," Jake said, grinning. "And you're a Zarvian. What do you think of us?" Her eyes lit up, a mixture of excitement and anxiety. "You seem different. I want to learn about how you feel." "Feel?" Jake echoed, a bit taken aback. "What do you mean?" "Emotions. Your kind shows them so easily." "We are, more reserved," she explained, brushing a hand over her shimmering skin. "I wonder how it is to express them." Jake chuckled lightly. "It can be messy at times, I'll tell you that. But it's worth it. You get joy, love, sadness, all of it fills your life, makes it richer." Lyra looked thoughtful, tilting her head like a curious puppy. "Richness? Can you teach me?" "Absolutely. But it might take some time," Jake replied, enthusiasm bubbling in his chest. "How about we start with something simple?" "Laughter." Oren interjected, a hint of amusement in his voice. "You may have your work cut out for you, Lieutenant." Jake grinned, eager for the challenge. "Let's find a spot to sit. Laughter is best shared." They soon found a shaded area beneath shimmering trees. The sunlight flickered through the leaves, casting colorful patterns on the ground. Sitting cross-legged, Jake felt a strange sense of peace here as they began to delve into the endless possibilities of humor. "Okay, how about jokes?" Jake proposed. "I'll go first. Why did the chicken cross the galaxy?" Lyra's violet eyes widened, her curiosity piqued. "I do not know." "To get to the other side." Jake burst into laughter, expecting her to join in. Instead, she stared at him, bemused. "Is that supposed to be funny?" she asked. "Oh, well, yeah. It's about the surprise of it, right? Let's try another." He thought for a moment before offering another joke. "What do you call a cat who loves space?" "An astropologue." Lyra squinted, absorbing the words. Slowly, a small smile crept onto her face. It was tentative, but there. "Astropaw. I like that. It's clever." "Exactly," Jake encouraged, feeling a surge of warmth. "You see? It's about the play on words." Feeling inspired, Lyra took a deep breath. "Okay. Why did the rock never get lost?" Jake leaned in, intrigued. "I don't know." "Why?" "Because it always bouldered its way through." The two burst into laughter, the sound ringing like music through the air. Jake was surprised to realize how easy it was to connect with her. As their laughter faded, Jake leaned back against the cool grass, watching the clouds drift lazily across the skies. "You're a natural at this, Lyra. We should make this a regular thing." "That would be nice," she replied, the shyness creeping back into her tone. She looked more relaxed with him, a small victory in itself. Their conversation flowed easily from there, touching on various topics, games, food, and family traditions. Through it all, Jake felt a growing fascination for Lyra. Her inquisitive nature, her bewilderment with human customs, and especially the sparkle in her eyes when she discovered new ideas, it was completely captivating. Unbeknownst to the two, Oren and the other diplomats were observing from a distance. "The boy connects with her," Oren noted, a hint of approval in his voice. "This could be beneficial for both our worlds." After hours of conversation and laughter, the sun began its descent, painting the skies with hues of orange and pink. Jake stood up, stretching out his limbs. "I had a great time, Lyra. Want to do this again tomorrow?" Lyra hesitated for a moment, looking down at the ground before meeting his eyes again. Yes. I want to understand more. As they walked back to the central square, Lyra reached for Jake's hand, not a gesture of formality but one of genuine companionship. Jake's heart raced, the warmth of her touch igniting something in him he didn't fully understand yet. Thank you for showing me today, she said quietly, glancing sideways at him. I felt something. That's what it's all about, Jake replied, squeezing her hand gently. Emotion, connection, it's a journey, sometimes you feel it, sometimes you don't. As they reached the bustling heart of the city, filled with vibrant sounds and colors, Jake realized that he already felt a deeper connection to this alien world and its inhabitants. He couldn't wait to see what tomorrow would bring and how Lyra would continue to unravel the complexities of human emotion and perhaps his own heart. With a lingering glance, they parted ways, the thrill of a new friendship sparking within both of them. Underneath the same stars, they each returned home, unaware of how their paths had already begun to intertwine, setting the stage for a much greater journey ahead. Chapter 2, Common Ground. The sun rose over Zarvian, casting golden light across the crystalline city. Jake awoke in his small quarters aboard the envoy ship, excitement washing over him as he thought about Lyra. Today was the day they would continue their exploration of each other's worlds. After a quick breakfast, Jake made his way back to the bustling city square where their meeting was planned. He could hardly contain his anticipation, wondering what new insights they might uncover together. Lieutenant, ready for another day of cultural exchange? Oren greeted him, the blue diplomat's skin glimmering as he approached. Absolutely, Oren. Today's all about fun. Lyra and I are diving deeper into human games. I can't wait to see her reaction. Jake replied with infectious enthusiasm, picturing Lyra's face as he shared Earth's entertainment. Just be cautious, our customs can be quite different. Make sure she understands the stakes, Oren said, a hint of warning in his voice. I'll keep that in mind. Jake flashed a smile and waved as he spotted Lyra approaching, her emerald skin sparkling under the light. Jake! Lyra called out, her voice melodic even from a distance. She hurried over, her violet eyes wide with anticipation. I've been thinking about our last conversation. The way you laughed, it felt nice. Good. That's the spirit. Today we're going to have some fun with games. Ever heard of charades? Jake asked, eager to dive into it. Charades? A game of gestures? Lyra looked puzzled but intrigued. Exactly. Here's the catch, you can't speak, only act out words or phrases. I'll guess what you're trying to convey. Ready to give it a try? Lyra nodded, her eyes sparkling with determination. Let's begin. I will try. Jake stood back, arms crossed, his expression animated with encouragement. Okay, show me your first word. Lyra took a deep breath, focused intently, and then began miming. She waved her arms dramatically, her posture exaggerated. Moving closer to the ground, she pretended to dig furiously. Jake furrowed his brow. Are you planting something? Lyra shook her head, laughing softly, clearly amused by Jake's guess. She shifted tactics, pretending to hold a tool, making digging motions again. Gardening, he tried, still guessing incorrectly. With a final burst of enthusiasm, Lyra jumped up, dramatically raising her arms high and swaying from side to side. Her movements were fluid and graceful. Ah! Wait! I think I got it, sowing seeds. Jake clapped, grinning. Seeds. Lyra echoed with joy. I sowed seeds of laughter? Exactly. See, you've got it. Jake cheered and they both laughed, fueling the growing connection between them. Now your turn, Lyra said, mirroring his excitement. Jake cleared his throat, put his hands on his hips, and pretended to be an extravagant movie star, striking a charismatic pose. You appear confident? Lyra guessed, tilting her head slightly. Close. Look closely, Jake instructed, moving his hands around his face and acting out various exaggerated facial expressions. Lyra's eyes widened as she concentrated. Suddenly she gasped. No, you are acting, she realized. Bingo. Jake grinned, bouncing on his feet. Acting. And wow, you're really good at this. The games continued, laughter echoing in the vibrant square. They mimicked various actions, eating, flying, and even dancing. With each round, their bond solidified further. Lyra's laughter had become more comfortable and Jake was thrilled to inspire such joy in her. Eventually, they decided to take a break. They found a nearby cafe where they could sit down and relax. The atmosphere was lively, filled with Zarvians chatting animatedly, their conversations a beautiful melody of sounds. I cannot believe how much I enjoyed that, Lyra said, wiping her eyes as she laughed. I'm glad you did. There's something special about sharing laughter, Jake said, watching her enjoy the sweet fruit drinks they had ordered. What do you think of this place? It's alive. So many voices and colors, she responded. Back home, we communicate differently. How so? Jake inquired, intrigued by her words. Lyra leaned closer, her expression becoming more serious. We do not often raise our voices. Instead, we connect by meaning through shared experiences. Like, we will share our thoughts with open minds, not loud words. Interesting, Jake mused. I try to do that too, but I think laughter has its place in much of it. It's how I connect with friends. Friends, Lyra echoed, pondering the term. What does it mean to be a friend? Jake leaned back, his eyes thoughtful. Well, it means being there for someone, sharing good times and bad. It's about trust, knowing you can depend on each other. Lyra nodded slowly, digesting his words. I would like to be your friend, Jake. Definitely, he agreed, a warm smile spreading across his face. I'd like that more than anything. You're already changing how I see things. Lyra blushed, her turquoise features becoming even more radiant. I feel the same. You have shown me laughter and I have never felt this close to anyone. Jake's heart raced. You truly deserve to feel everything, joy, sadness, love, everything that comes with being human. Love? Lyra's voice softened and she looked away momentarily, her expression turning introspective. Yeah, love, Jake said gently. It can be complicated, but it's an important part of life for humans. It often makes our experiences richer. Rich, Lyra repeated, staring at her drink. You share emotions freely. It is beautiful. I have longed to understand. Jake sensed the weight of her words, wanting to give her clarity. If you want to explore feelings, we can work on this together. I'm here to help. The words hung in the air like a promise. Jake noticed that Lyra's gaze lingered on him and the sapphire light from the cafe reflected in her eyes, making them sparkle. He felt drawn to her even more, as if an invisible thread connected them. Let's learn about earth music next time. It expresses emotions well, Lyra proposed suddenly, breaking the moment. Great idea. I can bring my device and play some songs for you, Jake replied enthusiastically. We can share our tastes in music. Yes. I would like that very much, Lyra smiled, her previous shyness fading into excitement again. As their conversation meandered through various topics, the pair noticed the shadows lengthening around them. The day was quietly turning to evening, and yet neither wanted to part ways just yet. We should do this again tomorrow, Jake suggested, reluctant to say goodbye. Tomorrow, Lyra echoed, a sense of warmth threading through her tone. And we can try more games or music? Jake grinned. Definitely both. And maybe even some dance moves. Lyra laughed, swaying in her seat. Dance? That will be a challenge. It'll be fun, I promise, he encouraged. Reluctantly, they rose from their seats, the vibrant sounds of the cafe fading as they navigated the lively square once again. Jake, she called softly, glancing up at him with earnestness in her eyes. Yeah? I enjoy being with you. I hope to learn more. You make me feel, she hesitated, searching for the right words. More alive. Likewise, Lyra. You bring so much light with you, he replied, feeling the sincerity in his words. With that, they walked in comfortable silence, hands brushing occasionally until they reached the rendezvous point where they would part ways. Good night, Lyra, Jake said as they stopped, his heart racing at the thought of their next meeting. Good night, Jake, she responded, her expression softening. Until tomorrow. Their eyes met, and for a brief moment, Jake felt the world around them fade away. Tomorrow's adventures awaited, and he couldn't shake the feeling that this unusual friendship was only just beginning. Chapter 3, The Deepening Connection. The next morning, Jake woke up with an unusual sense of anticipation. The previous day's laughter echoed in his mind as he prepared for another meeting with Lyra. Today, they would bring music into their mix of games, and he could hardly wait to share his world with her. After a quick breakfast, Jake grabbed his tablet, loaded with an array of songs from different genres, ranging from upbeat pop to soul-stirring ballads. He knew they had much to discuss, but he was excited to see Lyra's reactions as they explored the emotions behind the melodies. As he stepped out into the vibrant Zarvian city, the air felt fresh and alive. He navigated through the bustling streets, greeted by the colorful foliage and sparkling structures. Each step brought him closer to the square, where he hoped to meet Lyra. Jake! Her voice rang out as she spotted him, cutting through the chatter of the crowd. Lyra rushed over, her face alight with excitement. Hey, Lyra! Jake waved, feeling a warmth spread through him. Ready for some music? Yes. I have been thinking about it all morning, she replied, beaming. What will you show me? Let's start with something classic. He pulled out the tablet, his fingers dancing over the screen. How about this? Jake hit play, and the sweet strains of a guitar filled the air. It was a song that brimmed with warmth and nostalgia, invoking feelings of friendship and love. Jake watched Lyra closely as the music enveloped them. Lyra's eyes widened, absorbing the sound. It is beautiful. The way it resonates in my mind feels different. Different how? Jake asked, genuinely curious. It's like colors dancing. I feel warmth, happiness, she explained, closing her eyes and swaying gently. What does it mean to you? This song always makes me think of friendship. The notes feel like a warm hug, Jake said, smiling softly. As the music played, Jake watched Lyra lose herself in the rhythm. He felt the connection between them strengthen, a silent understanding forming as they shared this experience. Can we try to create our own? Lyra suggested suddenly, her enthusiasm sparking his creativity. Absolutely. How about we make a little rhythm? Jake said, grinning. You can use anything around us for sounds. Lyra looked around, her keen eyes spotting a few rocks nearby. She picked one up and tapped it against another, producing a light tinkling sound. With a burst of inspiration, Jake clapped his hands in time with her rhythm. That sounds good. Now let's add in some movement, he exclaimed, jumping up and moving to the beat. Lyra laughed, caught up in the moment. She began tapping the rocks and swaying, mimicking Jake's actions. Like this? She asked, her laughter blending seamlessly with the music they were creating. Perfect. Just feel the rhythm, Jake encouraged, his heartbeat quickening with the excitement of their impromptu jam session. As they played, the surrounding Zarvians paused, intrigued by the unusual sight. Some joined in, adding to their rhythm with claps and stomps. The lively atmosphere intensified, and before long, they attracted a small crowd. What if we make it a performance? Lyra suggested, her eyes sparkling with an adventurous spirit. Great idea. We should show them something memorable, Jake replied, feeling a rush of adrenaline. They quickly spurred the crowd into action, combining their rhythm with movements. Jake demonstrated chest thumping and hand claps, while Lyra danced gracefully around him, twirling and imitating earthly dance styles. Laughter filled the square, uniting everyone in a language beyond words. Now, let's incorporate some lyrics, Jake offered, suddenly hitting upon an inspiration. I'll chant a simple phrase, and you can respond with something in Zarvian. Okay. Lyra nodded eagerly, her excitement contagious. Jake began chanting a simple line. Joy in our hearts, laughter in the air. Lyra quickly responded, her voice melodic. Together we sing, as friends we share. The crowd erupted with enthusiasm, joining in the rhythm of their spontaneous performance. The Zarvians began to echo their phrases, creating an otherworldly chorus that harmonized beautifully. The air vibrated with energy, their laughter merging into a singular experience both groups shared. See, this is the magic of music, Jake shouted, overwhelmed with joy as they continued their rhythm. Hearts aligned in that moment. As the joyous noise subsided, they took a collective bow, soaking in the applause. Lyra's eyes sparkled as she turned to Jake, her face glowing with exhilaration. That was amazing. I have never felt anything like it. Jake chuckled, a wide grin forming on his face. Neither have I. I can't believe how much fun that was. Shall we do it again? She asked, her enthusiasm undiminished. Definitely. Let's not stop here, Jake said, feeling invincible with Lyra by his side. How about we explore more music? I want to share my favorite genres with you. Genres? Is that different? She asked, intrigued. Sort of. It's like different flavors of music. Let's try something funkier, Jake suggested, scrolling through his tablet to find an upbeat track. He pressed play, and vibrant horns ushered in a lively tune that practically begged them to dance. It was a stark contrast to. Lyra joined in with enthusiasm, mimicking his movements but adding her own flair. She twirled and spun, her emerald skin shimmering as she danced. Jake felt a rush of joy just watching her, his heart swelling with a mixture of admiration and delight. They danced together, losing themselves in the moment. The lively foot-tapping drew in more Zarvians, who began dancing along with them. Laughter erupted as Jake and Lyra switched up their moves, competing in playful improvisation. They leaped, twirled, and spun, crafting their own world within that joyous chaos. "I want to learn more," Lyra declared breathlessly, her excitement palpable. "More songs, more ways to express. Great. Tomorrow, I can bring a selection of my favorite songs. We can explore them all," Jake replied, his heart fluttering. As the music slowed and the crowd began to disperse, Jake felt a bittersweet pang at the thought of their day coming to an end. "I didn't want this to stop. I wish we could keep going." Lyra's gaze met his, her expression genuine. "Perhaps we can change our routine? Meet earlier. You read my mind. A morning jam session sounds perfect," Jake exclaimed. "We can experiment with your ideas, too. Make up some of our own. Right? We should create our own culture," she said, excitement ricocheting off her voice. Jake laughed, feeling invigorated. "Absolutely. The more traditions we create together, the closer we become. Like our own little universe." Lyra's expression shifted, a hint of seriousness entering her eyes. "I feel like this could change us, you know?" "Yeah, it could." Jake felt a weight to her words, recognizing the depth behind her feelings. "Let's harness that, Lyra. Making music can bring us closer, no matter the distance." Her eyes brightened, and she nodded. Together is the key. With that shared understanding, they began their walk home, hand in hand. The connection they forged today echoed in every smile, every laugh, every gesture. They had embraced something uniquely theirs, and neither of them wanted it to fade. As they approached their parting point, Jake couldn't help but feel a sense of promise. The future shimmered with possibilities. Together, they were forging a unique bond, creating memories that would last a lifetime, even in a world so different from their own. "Good night, Lyra," Jake said softly, dreading their time apart. "Good night, Jake. Until tomorrow," she responded, her eyes lingering on his. As she turned to leave, the stars began to twinkle above the crystalline city, and Jake felt certain that together, they would explore them all. Chapter 4: Overcoming Barriers. The next day dawned bright and clear, with multiple suns streaking across Zarvian's sky. Charged with anticipation, Jake woke up early, excited about what the day would hold. He hurried through breakfast, jumping into a fresh, clean uniform before making his way to the city center. "Jake!" Lyra's voice called out as he approached their meeting spot, her energy radiating like a bright star. She waited for him near a blooming grove, her emerald skin gleaming softly against the vibrant flowers. "Hey, Lyra, ready for another day of music and fun?" he said, unable to hide his smile. "Yes, I've prepared some ideas, too," she announced, her violet eyes glinting with enthusiasm. "We can try our own compositions today." "Awesome. I can't wait to hear what you've come up with." Jake felt invigorated, as if feeding off her palpable energy. "Let's get started." They settled beneath a large, iridescent tree that sparkled under the light. Jake opened his tablet, showcasing an array of musical tracks. "Shall we use this as our backdrop?" he asked, cheerful as ever. Lyra whispered, "Yes, but we also have to blend in. Can you repeat your rhythm?" "Absolutely. I'll lead us in," Jake replied as he began tapping out a steady beat with his hands on the tablet's surface. With that, Lyra closed her eyes, and for a moment, Jake thought she was channeling the spirit of the music. She began to sway, and it felt as if the world around them melted away. "This is different," she remarked, eyes still closed. "It feels like I'm part of something bigger." Jake smiled, feeling that they were connecting on a level beyond words. "That's what music does. Unites us. Okay, let's blend your rhythms and my beats. We can make something uniquely ours." She opened her eyes and nodded eagerly. "I will try some of the gestures. Can we do a call and response type of song like yesterday?" "Definitely. You lead, and I'll follow." Jake was brimming with excitement. Lyra's face lit up, and she started moving her hands in elegant gestures, her emotions painted through her actions. Jake watched intently, impressed by her natural grace. This is a very Zarvian style, I see. How do you say, our rhythm, in your language? They use a modifier. It's a sign of unity. She smiled. Let's say, though Talara, meaning our togetherness. Though Talara, Jake repeated, letting the phrase roll off his tongue. I love it. Let's put that in our song. Adopting a playful expression, Lyra tilted her head. I'll act it out first, and you can imitate. She began gesturing the words, expanding her arms wide, welcoming Jake into her world. With a smirk, he mirrored her movements, attempting to capture the essence of togetherness in his gestures. Though Talara, they both exclaimed joyously. Just then, a gathering of Zarvians strolled by, intrigued by the sounds coming from under the tree. Oren, the chief diplomat, approached, his blue skin shimmering. What's happening here? Jake stood tall. Oren, we're creating music together, feeling the spirit of unity. Unity? Fascinating. May I observe? Oren replied, curiosity sparkling in his eyes. Yes, please. Join us. Lyra invited, and Oren sank down on the grass beside them, eager to watch. As you create together, I imagine you're discovering more of each other's cultures? Oren asked, his gaze shifting from Jake to Lyra. That's right, Jake said. Lyra is teaching me Zarvian expressions. One means our togetherness. It's profound. Oren nodded. A strong bond can arise from understanding each other's languages. Exactly. Lyra added, we're trying to blend our styles. Jake picked up the tablet again, scrolling through their musical selections. How about we try something with a little more rhythm? He asked, his spirits high. I think we can weave your culture with the energy in this piece. He hit play and the infectious beat reverberated through the grove. Lyra began moving to the music, her body weaving gracefully as she expressed the emotions flowing within her. Jake mimicked her, stifling laughter as he tried to match her grace, adding his own playful twist. Let the music guide you. Oren encouraged. Show us your unique style. I want to see how it evolves. As they danced, the crowd around them grew. Zarvians began to clap along to the beat, creating a rhythm that harmonized beautifully with their newfound energy. Jake glanced at Lyra and they shared a knowing smile, their connection deepening in unison with the music. I think we've created something special, Jake said to her, eyes sparkling. Yes. It feels alive. Lyra replied, exhilaration evident in her voice. In between beats, Oren interjected with excitement. We must find a way to showcase this. You could present your creation to the council. It would be an excellent demonstration of our understanding. Jake's stomach turned slightly at the thought of performing before the council, but the idea intrigued him. That sounds amazing. What do you think, Lyra? Her eyes lit up, gleaming with determination. Yes. We must show how we can unite through art. But will they understand our intentions? Jake paused, recognizing the gravity of her concern. We can show them that different backgrounds can create something extraordinary. But if it doesn't go well, we can find a way to adapt. We always have each other, she said, courage filling her gaze. Oren nodded in agreement. You are both correct. If the intent is clear and sincere, I believe it will resonate. But we must practice. Let's refine our creation, Jake said, motivated by Lyra's resolve. We have a goal now. For the rest of the day, they rehearsed under the tree, exchanging words, gestures, and laughter. Jake's heart with excitement, imagining the possibilities that lay ahead. He felt a rush of camaraderie with Oren as he offered constructive feedback during their practice. As twilight descended, Lyra asked, tomorrow, can we do this in the main square for the council? Absolutely. Jake replied, his pulse quickening at the thought. I hope they will see our spirit, she said, her brow furrowing slightly. It is so different from their ways. They will, Jake assured her, wanting to alleviate her worries. You have a unique perspective and it's beautiful. Just be yourself. As fading daylight painted the sky in vibrant colors, Jake realized how deeply he cared for Lyra. Her passion inspired him, pushing him to explore new horizons. He felt increasingly drawn to her, and the understanding they were building was like crafting a sculpture from raw material. Thank you, Jake. You inspire me too, she said, breaking the spell. Together, we're unstoppable. He smiled, feeling his confidence surging. As they concluded their practice, Oren stood up and said, tomorrow will be a pivotal moment for both of you. Embrace it. Thanks, Oren, Jake replied, aware of the quiet support behind those words. What if we include a chance for the council to participate? It could break barriers. They might engage if we invite them to join our rhythm. Lyra suggested, her enthusiasm infectious. I love it. But how do we ensure they understand? Jake asked, feeling nervous yet excited about the additional layer to their plan. Through demonstration, Oren chimed in. Show them with actions. If they participate, they'll connect deeper with what you're creating. That could work, Jake agreed, envisioning a shared rhythm that would break through cultural walls. Let's incorporate interactive elements into our presentation, Lyra said, her eyes wide with excitement. As dusk fell, Jake and Lyra exchanged ideas, their laughter filling the air. Oren stood back, observing their synergy with a smile of approval. Each moment unfolded beautifully, sparking a bond that transcended words and differences. I can't wait for tomorrow, Jake exclaimed as they walked back to their parting point. Me too, Lyra responded, her gaze steady on him. Whatever happens, I am grateful we are on this journey together. Likewise, Jake said, still feeling that exhilarating connection. Now let's get some rest. Tomorrow will be incredible. Tomorrow, she echoed as they shared a lingering glance before parting ways, their souls intertwined in a new melody, all made possible by friendship, trust, and the common language of music. Chapter 5, The Reason to Cry. The dawn on Zarvian was stunning, golden rays filtered through the crystalline structures, creating a breathtaking light show. Jake felt a mix of nerves and excitement as he prepared for the day's performance. Today was the moment they had prepared for, a chance to showcase their creation to the council and the Zarvian people. As he stepped out of his quarters, the electric buzz in the air reminded him of a festival on Earth. He walked towards the square, his mind racing with thoughts about how Lyra would respond to the day's events. Jake, Lyra called out as he arrived, her emerald skin sparkling under the sunlight. She wore a beautifully crafted outfit reflecting vibrant patterns that swirled like music notes, and it took his breath away. Are you ready? As ready as I'll ever be, Jake replied, feeling his heart race at her radiant look. You look amazing. Thank you. You also look very human, she teased, her smile wide and playful. Are you nervous? A little, Jake admitted, but excited too. I think we'll show them something they've never seen before. Lyra nodded, her eyes filled with determination. Yes, we'll show them how our cultures can combine, unite. Exactly. Now remember our plan. We'll start with the rhythm, then invite them to join in, Jake said, trying to mask the fluttering in his stomach. The crowd began to gather, a sea of layered colors and soft murmurs echoing through the square. Oren appeared, nodding his approval at their setup. It's time. Just be yourselves, and let the joy shine through. Lyra took a deep breath, and Jake felt her energy. Let's do this. As the sun reached its zenith, Jake hit play on the tablet. The music began, filling the square with lively rhythms. Jake immediately launched into the soothing call and response they had practiced, emphasizing the words they had explored together. Join us, though, Talara, Lyra called, opening her arms wide, inviting the Zarvians to be part of this experience. The crowd paused, heads turning. Curiosity glimmered in their eyes. Oren stepped forward, encouraging them. Let's engage. Lyra danced gracefully, echoing Jake's movements, inviting the crowd into their world of expression. He could see many Zarvians begin to sway, feeling the rhythm. The atmosphere buzzed with intrigue, and Jake felt the warmth of shared enthusiasm wash over him. Though Talara, they shouted together, remembering the connection they had built. Slowly, others from the square began to clap along, creating a shared heartbeat. Look at them, Jake whispered to Lyra, all washing over him. They're joining in. Let's keep the energy high, she replied joyfully, propelling them into a cyclical rhythm that grew with every beat. As the music grew louder, Jake pointed at Oren and called, You too, join us. With hesitance melting away, Oren entered the rhythm, clapping and moving in time. Laughter erupted as more Zarvians joined in, filling the square with vibrant life. Emboldened, Jake shouted, Let's show them more of us. He gestured for a small group to come forward, inviting them to mimic their gestures, a blend of dance and movement that represented their combined cultures. Now you all try, Lyra urged. Use gestures like this. The crowd was hesitant at first, but with Oren leading the way, they began to loosen up, mimicking Jake's playful antics. Laughter filled the air, breaking down barriers they never realized existed. The spark of joy was infectious. Everyone is participating. This is incredible, Jake said, glancing at Lyra, whose eyes were wide with excitement. Yes, we are creating unity, she exclaimed, twirling her hands in delight. Though to Lara. The crowd roared and the sound echoed through the square, creating a sense of togetherness as they danced. Suddenly, as the session continued, Jake noticed a small boy standing at the edge of the crowd, peering in with wide, curious eyes. The boy looked shy, hesitant to join the festivities. Lyra, look at that little one. Jake pointed discreetly. I see him, she replied softly. Should we invite him? Absolutely. Let's show him it's safe to join, Jake decided. Hey you, he called, waving to the boy. Come join us. It's fun. The boy's gaze flickered between Jake and Lyra, uncertainty clear on his face. But, I don't know how to dance, he said, his voice barely audible. That's okay. Neither did we at first, Lyra said, kneeling down to his height, offering her hand. We're all learning together. Come, it will be great. With a slight hesitation, the boy took a step forward and grasped Lyra's hand, his trust beginning to shine through. Jake felt his heart swell as he saw the boy's nervous smile. What's your name? Jake asked gently. My name is Talon, he replied shyly. Nice to meet you, Talon. Ready to dance? Jake encouraged, taking a step back to give the child room. Talon looked into Lyra's kind eyes, confidence growing as he nodded. Okay. Fantastic. Jake cheered as the music pulsed with energy. Just follow us, we'll show you how to move. They began again, exaggerating movements while incorporating simpler steps for the boy to follow. The rhythm was infectious and soon Talon began to mimic them, however awkwardly at first. Laughter bubbled within the crowd, an encouraging wave that pushed Talon to loosen up. He smiled brightly, feeling the warmth of acceptance. As the music carried on, Jake stole glances around the square, his heart full at the sight of diverse beings united through a common thread. Lyra, this is more than I ever imagined, he exclaimed, the joy bubbling within him. Yes. We are building something beautiful, she agreed, her face glowing as Talon began to shine with newfound confidence. As the song wrapped up, Jake announced, Okay everyone, let's all end together. Though to Lara. The crowd echoed back, their voices rising into the moment, each being connected through the experience. When the music faded, the square erupted with applause and cheers. Talon beamed, glancing between Jake and Lyra. That was fun. I felt happy. Jake smiled widely. That's what it's all about. You did amazing, Talon. Thank you. Talon replied, visibly thrilled. Lyra knelt beside the boy. You brought joy to everyone today. Will you come dance with us again? Can I? Talon's eyes sparkled with hope. Of course. Any time you want. Jake replied, warmth flooding his chest at the connection they had all made. As the crowd began to disperse, Oren stepped forward, a satisfied smile on his face. What a splendid display. This has shown us how cultural barriers can be broken with shared experiences. Thank you, Oren, Jake said, feeling a weight lift from his shoulders. Lyra added, we must continue to engage with everyone, share our laughter and rhythm. That's a wise approach, Oren replied. This is just the beginning. There's so much to continue exploring. As the group chatted, Jake turned to Lyra, noticing a hint of apprehension in her gaze. Everything okay? It's just that, she hesitated, her violet eyes searching his. I felt something when we danced. Something deep. To feel so connected, it scares me a little. Jake took a breath, realizing just how much this moment meant to both of them. You're not alone. I feel it too. But it's a good thing, Lyra. It means we're building something real. Do you think emotions can feel overwhelming? She asked, her voice soft. They can, but they're also what makes life worth living, he replied gently. You've helped me understand that it's okay to embrace these feelings. We face them together. Lyra smiled up at him, her expression softening. You're right. Thank you, Jake. For everything. Always, he affirmed, feeling the weight of their mutual understanding pressing warmly around them. As they shared a moment, surrounded by the remnants of a beautiful day, the realization of their growing bond hung in the air. They had created something truly unique together, a mix of cultures, emotions, and friendships, igniting a spark that would continue to flourish in the days to come.